Absolutely. Here's a dramatic and engaging YouTube article for your channel, titled Toyota Hilux 3rd Gen N30 N40 Evolution, the truck that refused to die. In the wild world of trucks, only a few can claim immortality. They don't need fanfare. They don't need luxury trims or turbocharged egos. All they need is grit. Welcome to the story of a legend. A machine forged not in boardrooms, but in dust, steel, and survival. This is the saga of the Toyota Hilux 3rd Generation N30 N40. The truck that went where others wouldn't, and came back without a scratch. Let's go back to the early 1970s. When the roads were rough. The rules were few, and Toyota had one goal: build a truck that could outlive time itself. The birth of the N30 1978. It was 1978. Oil prices were high, people needed reliability, and the world was shifting toward smaller, tougher pickups. Toyota had already made waves with its earlier Hilux generations. But the 3rd gen, that's where it became unstoppable. Codenamed N30 N40, this Hilux wasn't just an update. It was a reinvention: stronger frame, better suspension, and most importantly, a design meant for both urban duty and off-road warfare. The N30 2WD and N40 4WD models launched together. And from day one, they were unstoppable forces of function. Designed to survive anything, every inch of the 3rd gen Hilux screamed durability. The ladder frame chassis was thicker and tougher. The live axle with leaf springs setup made it ideal for carrying anything, from concrete to cattle. And the rigid front axle on 4WD models. Perfect for rough, broken terrain. But it wasn't just brute strength. Toyota gave it simplicity, and in simplicity lies immortality. No fancy electronics. No complex computer systems. Just steel, gears, and willpower. Global workhorse, local hero. The Hilux 3rd Gen didn't stay in Japan. Within a year, it was in Africa, Australia, South America, Europe, and the Middle East. Why? Because in places where other trucks failed, the Hilux didn't even flinch. It could handle desert heat in Sudan, monsoon rains in the Philippines, frozen roads in Iceland, and mountain passes in Peru. Farmers loved it, contractors trusted it, rebels, relief workers, and ranchers all called it a lifeline. Engine options that kept it alive. Under the hood, the Hilux N30 N40 wasn't about horsepower. It was about dependability. Toyota offered a range of bulletproof engines. 12R 1.6L petrol, light and efficient. 18R 2.0L petrol, more torque, better highway handling. L Series diesel L, 2L, slow, loud, and utterly unkillable. The diesels in particular gained cult status. They could run on bad fuel, start in freezing cold, and keep moving with minimal maintenance. These were engines that asked nothing, and gave everything. The 4WD revolution. While the 2WD Hilux did well in cities and farms, the real hero was the N44WD. This was a truck that redefined what a pickup could do. Its gear-driven transfer case and manual locking hubs gave it unmatched crawl and climb ability. It wasn't built for speed. It was built for terrain, the kind most vehicles feared. And while Land Cruisers got the fame, the 3rd gen Hilux was doing the same job quietly in the background, with half the cost and twice the reliability. Styling that said, let's work. Visually, the 3rd gen Hilux wasn't flashy. It didn't need to be. Its square body lines and round headlamps gave it a timeless utility look. The bed was flat and wide. The grille was simple. The overall vibe, let's get it done. And that simplicity became iconic. It looked like a truck you could trust, because it was. Interior, bare bones brilliance. Step inside, and the message was clear. This was a workplace, not a lounge. Hard plastic dashboard, vinyl seats, manual windows, simple analog gauges, no distractions, just the essentials. And yet, for many, that cab became a second home. Because when you spend 10 hours a day behind the wheel, what matters isn't luxury. It's layout, logic, and longevity. The truck of war and peace. The 3rd gen Hilux gained a reputation unlike any other. It became the vehicle of choice in global conflict zones. You'd find it in the hands of militias in war zones, with humanitarian aid groups delivering supplies, patrolling rural farms, escorting convoys in deserts. It wasn't the guns, it wasn't the politics, it was the Hilux, always moving forward, no matter the terrain or mission. This reputation even made it into pop culture. When asked, what's the one vehicle you'd take into a survival scenario? The answer was always, a Hilux, cultural icon and pop hero. From television to documentaries, the third-gen Hilux became a myth. In one famous stunt, a Hilux was dropped from a building, drowned in the sea, set on fire, smashed with a wrecking ball, left on a rooftop, and yet, it still started. No cinematic tricks, no CGI, just engineering from another dimension. The world didn't just respect the Hilux. It feared its variants, trims, and utility. Toyota offered several variants: single cab for work fleets, long bed for heavy haulers, double cab rare in some markets for families and crews. And optional features: basic, you could get a radio if you were lucky, air conditioning in warmer regions, and a cigarette lighter which doubled as a battery tester. It wasn't about gimmicks, it was about function. The end of an era, 1983. In 1983, Toyota ended production of the third-gen Hilux. The fourth-gen was sleeker, more modern, and better suited for the growing personal use market. But the N30, N40, it left with its head high. Over 1 million units sold globally. Tens of thousands still running today. Some still doing daily duty in mines, farms, villages, and backcountry highways. The Hilux didn't retire. It just moved on, silently, faithfully. Legacy in steel. Ask any Toyota enthusiast what their dream Hilux is. And chances are, they'll say, the third general, the real one, because it represents more than just a vehicle. It's a philosophy, that reliability beats luxury, that endurance outlasts speed, that simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. You don't find that in modern pickups. You find it in the unbreakable bones of the N30, N40. Final words: why the third-gen Hilux still matters. In today's world, we're obsessed with touchscreen displays, remote start, and 5-star crash ratings. But the third-gen Hilux reminds us of something deeper. That a machine's worth isn't measured in features, but in faithfulness. That a good truck doesn't ask for attention. It just gets the job done, over and over and over again. It doesn't matter if the paint's chipped, if the odometer's broken, if the badges have faded. If it's a third-gen Hilux, it still runs. And in a world that's constantly changing, sometimes, that's all we really need. Would you like a cinematic intro script or visual reference guide for this story?